going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be working on the 135, the 1M clone. Got something pretty cool. We're going to be changing some stuff up. Finally got the new plate in for the 1 Series. Thick with a 1. Had to do it. So before we get rolling, a huge shout out to the guys over at Auto Wheel for always supporting the channel. They have built me a new steering wheel for the 135. This will be the second one for this car. Now, there's nothing wrong with the one that we have in here now. It actually looks really good, but I wanted to change it up and go with something that's a little more traditional, and I think it's just going to suit this car a bit better. So right now we have the all leather flat bottom M stitching steering wheel, and it looks really good. It honestly flows quite nicely with this interior. However, I think that we can do something better. Right now, my favorite steering wheel that I've had on any of my cars is the one that I currently have on my E92 M3. So this one is just your standard steering wheel. It's a little bit thicker. It has Alcantara down here, Alcantara up here. It's leather back here, and then it has leather on the sides. It's a very simple design, but I think it works really well in this car. And I'm sort of becoming a little less fond of the flat bottoms and more into the traditional design. So let's take a look at what we have now. This car is looking freaking so good, man. So good. I got some fun changes coming soon for this car. Can't wait to show you guys what we have. But here is the wheel that was sent over by the guys over at Auto Wheel. Lots of Alcantara. If you guys remember, in my E36 M3, I ran a steering wheel very, very similar to this one. But on the E36, it's a much skinnier design. So this steering wheel is a little bit thicker than the one that I have in there now. And it's basically identical to OEM, but the entire thing will now be Alcantara with the M stitches, and the center trim piece is also Alcantara. I'm a little bit on the fence about the center trim piece being Alcantara. I do have a brand new leather one right here on this wheel, so I can always swap it over if I want to mix it up. But right now we're going to stick with the all Alcantara. I think it's going to look really freaking good in this car. Pretty basic design, nothing too crazy. I've sort of navigated away from the steering wheels with carbon fiber all over them, hard edges. I just really like this traditional design. Doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, it just means that that's what I'm into at this point in time. So again, big shout out to the guys over at Auto Wheel for making this steering wheel happen. I will have them linked down below if you guys are interested in buying a steering wheel from them. You can build completely custom wheels, whatever you want. They also have some more traditional designs up on the website, but they have built so many steering wheels for my builds. I don't even know what we're at now. It's gotta be 10, 12 steering wheels we've done so far in all of my cars. And when it comes down to it, they really do a fantastic job, and the materials they use are top notch. So everybody loves the little steering wheel install. Very, very simple. We're just going to disconnect the battery, take out the old screwdriver, get into the sides, pop out that airbag, which is always just a blast to do. And yeah, it shouldn't be too painless. Let's get into it. Okay, so battery's disconnected. We're gonna try this with this Torx screwdriver. Sometimes I use a flathead, sometimes I use a Phillips head, and then I've also heard that these work pretty well. I think the Phillips head works really good, a lot better than the flathead, but we'll try this out and see how long it takes. You'll find a couple of little slits on the sides where you can puncture into the leather, and then there's basically a little channel, and you're just gonna try and find the spring mechanism that holds in the airbag, and once you compress that, you can pop out the airbag. Whew, okay, not gonna lie, that took a while. Doesn't matter how many times I do it. Sometimes it just takes a longer time. Sometimes it's right away. Never know. So once we pull the airbag out here, you're gonna have a couple of plugs. There we go. That one out. A little lock and clip on it. You just pry up. It should release the whole thing. Remove the airbag. And then you'll have a couple of plugs on the inside here. Self-explanatory. You can take those out. One right there. A little gray plug. Have a black one as well. In order to remove this center bolt, it is a 16 millimeter. Probably have to use an impact or a breaker bar to get it off initially. Being that I already have removed this one, it's probably just gonna come right out. So when you re-torque this, it's 45 foot-pounds of torque. And then obviously before you do any of this, make sure the steering wheel is dead center before you go ahead and do this. Pull right out. We're out. So you can really see the overall thickness. Like, this is way thicker than this steering wheel. This is gonna feel really awesome in the car. I also love the way that this looks. I love that it's all Alcantara. And again, if I want to change it up and have like a little bit of leather on it, I can use this centerpiece and throw it into here, which is nice. So that'll fit on there perfectly. Fun fact, this is actually the exact same steering wheel as the E9Xs. So the E82s and E9Xs actually share a lot of the same parts, like seats, for example. You can actually fit F8X seats into E9Xs and E82s, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to bore you guys with the switching of the electronics and everything. It's basically a few smaller Torx bolts to get all the trim off, a couple plugs, and just move it all over to this side. Quick and painless, my friends. Dang, that looks good. All right, time to get it on. There's a little notch at the bottom, and a notch on your steering column. So you'll know where to line it up. Oh, this looks so much better in this car. So putting the 16 millimeter bolt back in, and like I said, that's 45 foot-pounds when you torque it. So tight, get all your connections back in. Connect our airbag. They're color coded, by the way, so you can't really screw them up. Oh, yes. Oh yeah, this is way better for this interior. What a vibe this wheel is, man. Completely different than the old one. I love it. Still letting it warm up, but man, those turbos in person are so loud. The blow-off valve releasing all that pressure is just insane. It sounds amazing. I love it personally. Some people don't like the blow-off valve sounds, but I think it sounds freaking sick. Makes the car rowdy and fun to drive. You guys tell me what you think about this wheel, man. Are you into it? I really like it. Reminds me of my E92 M3 mixed with my E36 M3 with the all Alcantara design. I think it's really sick. I was thinking about doing that leather trim, but honestly, I think this is the way to go. It looks really good. I did do a little bit of work on the interior with the Alcantara down there and then Alcantara up here. However, I will be changing some stuff, and I also have a company that's making me the Alcantara bezel up top that will look like the 1M, but I'm not doing the orange stitching. I'm just gonna stick with the either black or white stitching. I'm not quite sure yet. I love the side profile of this car. It's just so good looking. It's very dirty right now, so we're gonna go home and have a little wash after this. But dude, this car is just looking so perfect. It's so simple. I've decided to not do any of the side skirt extensions or rear diffusers or carbon trunk or any of that. I just think it looks so good as it is. It's all performance oriented from here on out. Maybe some different wheels, definitely some different tires. Tires are gonna make a big difference in this car. But you guys tell me what you think, man. Are you into it? Oh, I love it. I think it turned out so good. So one thing about this car that just drives me insane, and it's probably just because I'm a taller gentleman, is my head is so high up. The seating position in the 135 is really high, even higher than my E92 M3, which is higher than the F8Xs. So you sit in the clouds in this car, and it's not ideal. I mean, there's no way that I'd be able to like fit a helmet in here, you know, if I did take this to the track ever. So what I'm gonna do, I think, I was talking to my friend Brian over at Keys Motorsports today. I'm gonna order some Recaro Recaro pole positions. I was kind of going back and forth between like the Sportster CSs and the pole positions, but I think with this car being like a little more rowdy and like a cool, fun project build, I want to do some pole positions in it. And in the M3, I might do some F82 M4 seats. The only thing is I will be losing the red. Doesn't honestly bother me that much. I'll still keep the red like on the door cards, just like little hints of it. We already have obviously the rear seat delete, so there's not a ton of red in the car. Now that I'm sort of losing it as we go along here, but I'm thinking the all black leather Recaro pole positions will look really good in this car, and like simple, will lower my driving position a lot better. Yeah, I think it's gonna look sick. So obviously some little things that we need to finish up on the interior, but mostly, to be honest, man, this car is like, it's pretty much where I want it, other than the carbon roof, which I'm still sort of on the fence about. Like, I don't know, man, I do like having a sunroof sometimes. Carbon roof would be sick, but I do like having the sunroof. The one thing I don't want to do is have to, you know, cut the roof off and then have this car sit in the body shop for some time to just make everything perfect and put the glass back in. But I don't know, I'm on the fence about it, so I think I'm gonna hold off on that for now. Definitely entertaining some different wheel options, and then R888Rs on these wheels for sure. We're gonna go a little bit more meat on them. I think it's gonna look really good. And then the last thing we need to do is just really finish off all of the performance stuff on this car, because I do have the Mosselman upgraded twins right now. I do have the port injection, it's not hooked up, and I do have Motive Reflex also not hooked up. So we need to do all that, finish it off, put another low pressure fuel pump in. I have a Walbro 450. We'll be running 2 low pressure fuel pumps, one for the direct injection and then one for the port injection. And this thing will be getting plenty of fuel for the power that I wanna make. The guys over at CS are gonna help out with that, and then we hit the dyno, and then we just have fun with it, man. We just enjoy the car. I really haven't been making a ton of content on this car because honestly, I've just been daily driving the E92 M3, and I drive this to like car shows and on the weekends whenever I just want to have a little bit of fun. But the car is just, I'm so happy with it. It's not like I need to change anything on it. I've sort of become content with that. Just being an enthusiast and enjoying the cars that we build, I think is really important. And as a YouTuber, sometimes we get distracted by thinking that we always need to like throw more at it. One thing I will say with this car though is it desperately needs suspension upgrades. So Öhlins coilovers, Milway camber plates, and then a full refresh on control arms, trailing arms. I'm gonna go with a fully adjustable monoball setup. I didn't make a video on it, but I actually did the monoball control arms on my E92 M3, and that made a huge difference in the way that the car handled. It's so much more rigid and precise now. I love it. It feels like a race car. The rear end is still sloppy in that car, but the front end is so dialed. As soon as I did that, I was like, I need all of this for the E82 because it makes a massive difference. You also get a lot less deflection with those control arms, and the car just seems to go directly where you point it, and everything just feels a lot tighter. So highly recommend, if you guys need to upgrade your control arms, entertain the thought of possibly doing like the SPLs or the Turner Motorsport monoball control arms. They make a huge difference. So yeah, just little things here and there for this car that we need to finish up, and I think it's gonna be, yeah, I think I'm gonna be really happy with where it's at. I'm already really happy with where it's at, but there on out, we're just gonna enjoy it, guys. Anyways, guys, that is gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to the guys over at Ozza Auto Wheel for sending this wheel out. I'm gonna have all their information linked down below if you guys need a custom steering wheel. See you in the next one. Peace.